All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down a blueprint for the future of how organizations manage their money. And no, this isn't about your standard corporate bank account. We're talking about the lifeblood of DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. We're going to walk through a super advanced playbook for building a treasury that's not just rich, but truly sovereign, all based on this fascinating manual called DAO Treasury Management. You know, the manual opens with this quote, and it just perfectly sets the stage. In the DAO world, the treasury is everything. It's your strategic weapon, it's your defense shield, and it's the fuel that powers all your innovation. Get it right, you thrive. But get it wrong? Well, it becomes exactly that, a slow-acting poison. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what a modern DAO treasury, this war chest, really is. Then, we'll get into how you fortify it, how you build it to last for 100 years, and how you put all that capital to work. And finally, we'll see how this all comes together to create a brand new, hyper-efficient kind of organization. Okay, so first up, what exactly is this war chest? Well, we're now in what the source material calls the Great Clarification of 2026. This is an era where the old, kind of sloppy ways of doing things just don't cut it anymore. A war chest is basically a DAO's ultimate survival kit. It's the capital that lets you power through a brutal crypto winter, the funds to go on the offensive with new projects when everyone else is retreating, and the ammo you need to fend off a hostile takeover. It all adds up to what the manual calls institutional-grade sovereignty. See, it's not just about having money in the bank, it's about having independent, unassailable power. But here's the thing. Before you can even think about filling that chest, you have to build an impenetrable fortress around it. So let's talk about fortifying that foundation right at the root. The absolute bedrock of DAO security is the multi-signature wallet, or what everyone just calls a multisig. Instead of one person holding the keys to the kingdom, you need multiple, trusted signers to approve any transaction. I love how the manual puts it. This isn't just a technical tool, it's a social contract rendered in code. It literally forces people to agree on every single major financial decision. But you know, every strength can become a weakness. By 2026, as these DAOs balloon into huge organizations, they run into what's called the Multisig Bottleneck. I mean, just imagine needing 5 top executives to sign off on a $10 software subscription. It's an operational nightmare. It just grinds all progress to a halt. So how do you fix that? With a tiered architecture. Here's how it works. The vast majority of the funds, the real treasure, stays locked down in a super high-security root treasury. Think something that needs 7 out of 10 signers. Then, that root treasury allocates smaller, manageable budgets to more agile operational pods. So the marketing pod might get its own budget with a simple 2 of 3 multisig. This gives them the freedom to move fast and spend what they need without ever putting the main war chest at risk. And as the threats get more sophisticated, so do the defenses. Professional DAOs are now using anonymous signers, using tech like zero-knowledge proofs. This lets them prove they're authorized to sign without revealing who they are, which protects them from being targeted or pressured. They also have mandatory 48-hour time locks on big transactions. It's basically an emergency circuit breaker that gives the community a chance to stop anything that looks shady. And with MPC, or multi-party computation, the master key literally never exists in one piece. It's shattered into mathematical shards, making a single point of failure completely impossible. Okay, so the foundation is secure. Now, how do you actually fill the chest? Section 3 is all about building a treasury that can outlast all of us. And it comes down to smart asset diversification. This right here is one of the most painful but most important lessons from the early days of crypto. If your entire treasury is made up of your own super volatile governance token, you don't actually have a treasury. What you have is a massive, unhedged bet on yourself. And when the market inevitably turns south, your ability to pay people and build things evaporates at the exact moment you need it most. The modern solution to this is the 80-20 rule. The idea is that no more than 20% of your war chest should ever be held in the DAO's own native token. The other 80%? That forms what the manual calls a diversified fortress, and it's built for stability, not speculation. This is a huge philosophical shift. It's about moving from treating the treasury like a bet on your own coin to managing it like a professional long-term endowment. So what's actually in this fortress? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a strategic mix. You've got stablecoins, but they're split across different kinds, like centralized ones and decentralized ones, to reduce risk from any single issuer. It includes blue-chip assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum for that long-term growth potential, and critically, it uses automated rebalancing models. This is key because it takes human emotion completely out of the equation, forcing the treasury to systematically sell high and buy low. All right, a secure, diversified treasury is great, but idle capital is wasted capital. So now we're going to see how the smartest DAOs turn that chest into a productive, self-sustaining engine. So DAOs have a few different tools they can use to generate yield. You've got your lower risk strategies like staking, which can earn a pretty reliable 3 to 5%. Then you have higher return plays like providing liquidity, which might get you over 20%, but it comes with the unique risk of what's called impermanent loss. And for more stable returns, there are complex delta-neutral strategies that are hedged against market moves, often pulling in 10 to 15%. But the real game changer, the thing that allows for what's called the great de-risking, is the integration of real-world assets, or RWAs. These are just tokens on the blockchain that represent ownership of stuff in the physical world. And why does this matter so much? Because a US Treasury bill doesn't care if the crypto market is crashing. It provides stability that's completely uncorrelated to crypto volatility. A pretty common starting point is holding tokenized T-bills, which creates a nice, stable 4 to 5% risk-free baseline yield for the Treasury. More advanced DAOs might even get into on-chain private credit, lending money directly to real-world businesses for higher returns. And this shows just how mature the space has become. They use sophisticated legal structures called bankruptcy remote SPVs. This basically ensures the DAO truly owns the assets, even if the company that tokenized them goes bust. So let's recap. We have a secure, diversified, and productive treasury. The final piece of this puzzle is seeing how this incredible financial engine powers a totally new kind of organization, one that's defined by radical efficiency and transparency. Just take payroll, for example. The old monthly paycheck, it's a relic. The 2026 standard is streaming payments. Contributors get paid in real time, literally by the second. This completely solves what's called lump sum risk. No more paying someone a huge chunk up front only for them to disappear. With streaming, if the work stops, the payment stream is paused instantly. It creates perfect alignment. And this insane efficiency is all built on a foundation of what's called radical transparency. The phrase "trust me" is obsolete. It's dead. Instead, DAOs provide a live, on-chain dashboard showing every single asset, every single liability, updated in real time. This isn't some dusty quarterly report. It's a 24/7 proof of solvency, where the blockchain itself is the final, undisputed source of truth. This new gold standard of auditing really rests on 3 pillars. First, you have triple entry accounting, where the blockchain entry is the immutable record. Second, you have AI agents that are constantly scanning the treasury 24/7, flagging anything that looks suspicious. And third, you have automated compliance wrappers that handle the absolute nightmare of global tax reporting, making it safe and easy for top talent anywhere in the world to contribute. The manual wraps up with this really powerful call to action. The treasurer of a modern DAO isn't just some accountant crunching numbers. They are the guardian of an entire community's future. The stakes are just incredibly high, and the responsibility is immense. So what does this all leave us with? We've just walked through a blueprint for treasuries that are incredibly secure, built to last, and radically transparent. So the final question is this just some niche model for the crypto world? Or are we actually looking at the future operating system for any organization that wants to be truly resilient and unstoppable in the decades to come?